Science Explorers. This is your lead scientist, Miss Shirley. Today's lesson is how can wind change stone monuments? In today's lessons, we will explore the following. How can wind change a stone monument? Stone monuments can be changed by wind. The Great Sphinx is another giant rock carving. It is a very old monument in Egypt. There is little rain and no ice to break the rock apart there, but it is hot, windy, and sandy. Wind blows tiny grains of sand against the monument. It grinds away at the stone. Over many years, the stone has worn away. Workers try to protect Sphinx from changes caused by wind. The Sphinx is much older than Mount Rushmore. Wind has been blowing sand against it for a very long time. Weathering is the breaking down of rock, soil, and minerals, as well as other surfaces like building, brick, and wood by wind, rain, and weather. Erosion occurs when water or wind washes or blows away rock or soil. In our last lesson, we explored the following. People who work to preserve the monument check the stone for cracks. The faces at Mount Rushmore are carved into a kind of rock called granite. Waters can seep into cracks in the rock. During cold water, the water freezes into ice, and as ice becomes solid, it expands and gets a little bigger. Ice inside cracks in rock pushes the granite apart little by little. The cracks can get bigger. Over time, small cracks can cause large chunks of rocks to break off and fall. This happens to carved stone and to natural rock too. If this keeps happening to rock, then the crack in the rock will get bigger and can eventually break the rock apart. This is what workers are trying to prevent at Mount Rushmore. This is why they preserve the monument by checking for cracks. To preserve Mount Rushmore, workers fill cracks so water cannot get into them. This protects the sculpture. They fill the cracks with material called silicone. Silicone is like a thick glue. It's hard and rubbery when it dries, and silicone is waterproof. It keeps water out of the cracks. Let's introduce some words we need to learn for this lesson. Silicone is like a thick glue. It's hard and rubbery, and when it dries, is waterproof. Preserve maintains something in its original existing state. Weathering is the breaking down of rock, soil, and minerals, as well as other surfaces like building bricks and wood by wind, rain, and weather. Erosion occurs when water or wind washes or blows away rock or soil. Maintain, to keep the same, keep steady, keep up, or keep going. Okay, Science Explorers, we're going to learn more about how we can preserve rock stone monuments from wind and also investigate and explore some questions about it. Let's watch this video.
The landscape of Earth has been formed over millions of years, and it is constantly changing. Some changes are major events that you can see happening, like volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Other changes to Earth's surface are happening so slowly that you cannot notice them from day to day. One such process is erosion. Erosion happens when rock or land changes shape over time. There are different types of erosion. One type is wind erosion. You may not think that wind can change the shape of Earth, but this has happened in many places. One location that has been shaped by wind erosion is in the southwest United States, in Arizona and Utah. This area is known as the wave because it looks like an ocean wave crashing. But how did it get this shape? Wind blowing through the desert carries sand along with it and blows across the rock. This wears away small amounts of the softer rock, and over a long enough time period, the wind creates unusual shapes in the rocks. This area of Utah, called Monument Valley, has some of these unusual rock formations caused by wind erosion. As the rock has been worn away, it has left behind tall structures like these totem-shaped rock pillars. Wind erosion is common in areas of land that are higher in elevation, such as these formations, also in Utah. Another common type of erosion is water erosion. This occurs when water causes rock or land to change shape over time. One of the most dramatic examples of water erosion is also found in the United States. The Colorado River flows from Colorado to Mexico. Over millions of years, the water traveling this path created a canyon. This canyon is now called the Grand Canyon and is a well-known tourist attraction. The canyon is a mile deep and up to 18 miles across at its widest areas. This amazing sight was shaped entirely by the water running over it day after day. Another amazing example of water erosion can be seen along the coast of Scotland, where you will find a rock formation known as the Old Man of Hoy. In the same way that river water can erode rock, ocean waves hitting the land again and again can also cause erosion. This particular formation is called a sea stack. It is a large column of rock that is left after wind and waves erode the surrounding rock and cause sections of the cliff to completely collapse. The Old Man of Hoy is almost 450 feet high. You can figure out if erosion is caused by water or by wind in a simple way. If there is a water source there, like a river, a waterfall, or an ocean, then the erosion is due to water. There are beautiful examples of wind and water erosion all over the world. Many of these locations are popular tourist destinations, while others are rarely seen. Maybe someday you will see one of these wonders for yourself.
Okay, science explorers, let's learn more about how wind can change a stone monument. If this keeps happening to the rock, then crack in the rock will eventually get bigger and bigger and can eventually break the rock apart. This is what workers are trying to prevent at Mount Rushmore. This is why they preserve the monument by checking for cracks. Why do they use silicone? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. Why is it important to keep water out of the cracks? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. During his trip, Logan reads more about how stone can be damaged. He learns that stone monuments can also be changed by wind. The Great Sphinx is another giant rock carving. It is a very old monument in Egypt. There is little rain and no ice to break the rock apart there, but it is hot, windy, and sandy. Wind blows tiny grains of sand against the monument. It grinds away at the stone. Over many years, the stone has worn away. Workers are trying to protect the Sphinx from changes caused by wind. The Sphinx is much older than Mount Rushmore. Wind has been blowing sand against it for a very long time. How can wind change a stone monument? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. This page talks about wind and how it can change rock. The page gives the example of Great Sphinx in Egypt. This is not a place where Logan is visiting on his trip. Why do you think the Sphinx is included here to explain about wind changing rock? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. Weathering is breaking down of rock, soil, and minerals, as well as other surfaces like building bricks and wood by wind, rain, and weather. Erosion occurs when water or wind washes or blows away rock or soil. Can you think of anything in your neighborhood that is affected by erosion? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. And to summarize, based on what you've read about wind and water, do you think it takes a long time or short time for wind and water to make these changes to stone monuments? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. Finally, what did you think of today's lesson? Okay, science explorers, we learned how wind can change stone monuments. Until next time, ciao for now.